Hi all, welcome back to more Unconditional Surrender. Still training scenario 4, this is my part 26, I think it is. We're still in the August 1940 turn. Remember, it only lasts till December 1940. I've got a wee marker here saying we're past operations phase, so looking at no supply phase in the sequence of play, which there won't be any of that, but it's just where that's marked. Yeah, it was a really good. It's been a really interesting turn, this, I think. The Germans done a bit better, and then didn't think the Western faction were going to do anything. Then we put the surprise attack marker in, and they got some mixed results, didn't they? I think I was just watching back on the part where I attacked with the WDF on the unit here, and realised that I should have attacked with that first. I mean, we eventually broke the unit away, but this WDF got an attacker stopped result, which is fair enough. It could have happened to either one. I think, actually, I want to say they both got stopped, and we had to bring something else. We had to bring this 10th around to finish a guy off who was reduced. But we should have done everything in our power to try and eliminate that unit without using that. And then, if it was still there, fair enough, have a go at that, and so be it. If it gets stopped or if it doesn't defeat it, so be it. At least we've left that to the end, so that we then could have moved into there. I've just realised though. That would never have worked, would it? I didn't realise that. Well, I know it wouldn't have worked, but I'm just realising now that we were making an assault on the 2nd Panzer, weren't we? You can't do a mobile attack and then do an assault in the same turn. The assault is like a one-off thing. So in actual fact, yeah. Okay, I might get some comments about that then. About the way I've been thinking about that. I would have realised come the time, for sure. I would have realised I couldn't have done it. But it still might have been possible if we had used the French units to eliminate this guy, and then this guy could freely have moved into this hex and been part of the assault on the 2nd Panzer in Dijon, and then used it. And the main part was so that he could use the tanks and get an extra +2. Because the combat that we had against the 2nd Panzer, I want to say it was something like a +2 to a +2 or something, wasn't it? It wasn't. The modifiers weren't great. Anyway, yeah, maybe it might not matter the way I'm looking at that now. Anything else that I picked up on? Not really. I haven't had any more comments recently. It was just last night I finished off that last part. Well, I've not uploaded part 25 yet. I was watching it back today. It'll go up shortly. And this is part 26. So yeah, we're closing in on the finish, but it's interesting. It's quite. You still feel like the Germans are going to be able to do it, but yeah. Don't know. I mean, I had to move this up to here, and I mean this is going to flip over. It's going to get replaced shortly. But I had to move it up to there because then I moved the 10th French Infantry down, so it's a little bit sparse in this area, and the 1st Panzer's there. I mean, if the 1st Panzer does break through, he is more than likely to maybe have an attack on this, I would think. Probably try and knock out the French here before it happens. We have moved the extra, that German sortie that was out of range. However, looking at these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, none of them are in range of that. And where are the French? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, well, these two could take out the two French air units, and then this would be free to attack on that. And then if they break through there, the 1st Panzer, okay, it's going out on a wee bit of a journey, and then supply might be, well, to be honest, it's probably going to be okay. But it could then burst through and go, well, depends how much it's going to take. Remember, he's not going to be reduced, Grant. Yeah, there's still you know what, I'm looking ahead too far there. We'll just get on with it and let's see what happens. There's still a bit to do, for sure. Okay, so I've got myself marked here in no supply phase. There is nothing that is in no supply. So next step is the replacements phase. Okay, so let's see what the Germans got. Germans have 13. And yeah, I was counting their points wrong. Because they've got 3 sorties. And I heard myself misspeak in saying that it was going to cost them 6 to replace these sorties. Well, it's not. It's 3 per air unit. So that's 9. Which would leave only another 4. Another 4. But what else have they got to do? They've got 2 units eliminated, but they've nothing on map that's reduced. So, yeah, they're not going to be able to do diplomacy. So what they're going to do is they're going to repair their 3 air units, 1, 2, 3, for 9 points. Alright, so that's 9 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, they've got 4 left. Did I say 3? Well, they've got 4 points left. So they can't do diplomacy. There's nothing there that needs repaired. All the reduced units, they're all garrisons. So they might as well remove 2 sorties from the convoy there. Taking that down to 2. Yeah, it was 4. It was on 4, wasn't it? And that costs another 3 for that. 1, 2, 3. So they've only got 1 point left. But like I say, nothing to mobilise. Got 2 eliminated units, but nothing to mobilise. Okay, so that's the Germans taken care of. Let's do the French next. So the French have only 7 points left. But that's perfect. We calculated that carefully because we didn't want to not be able to fix this guy. So we're going to flip this guy. And just while I was doing that, nobody's mentioned anything. So replacements. Is there some restriction? I mean, he's got to be in supply anyway, because that's in the supply phase. What is this? Replacements. I just maybe took it for granted that everything else was alright with that. Replacements. Flip over friendly reduced field ground unit to its full side. Is there... Yeah, it says, warning, a friendly unit may be surrounded by enemy units by the time a faction gets to this phase. Such a unit can be improved. This represents replacements that made it through before the unit was cut off. Yeah, so the unit could be surrounded, and as long as it was able to trace supply in its supply phase, then all was good. Yeah, replacement special notes. It says the unit receiving replacements must be in full supply and cannot be marked with a strategic move marker. A faction may spend as many production points as it has remaining, but a unit can be improved only 1 time per turn. Yeah, that's it. So it's reasonably straightforward, as I thought. But I suppose you could see, the fact that the Germans go first in the operations phase, the Allies go next, for instance. This is a case here. This second Panzer, if he was reduced right now, you can see he's completely surrounded here, but he could still be repaired. He could still be replaced. It's just warning you there that that's allowed in this game. You feel like it's some mechanic in some games that wouldn't be allowed, and that's probably the case, but the reasoning is it says it made it through before the unit was cut off. And remember, each faction does all their operations first, so if you think about it, that makes some sense. Right, so the French unit is going to flip. It's just a ground leg unit. So that costs 1 point, and then they've got 6 points left, and they're going to repair the 2 air units. Okay, that's done for the other 6 points. Now, it might well be that the Germans are going to knock these out again, but obviously they've got to spend the point. They've got to spend the points on them to make the Germans have to do it. You know, the Germans, it could cost the Germans 2 sorties each to take the 2 sorties each out. They've got a slightly better chance being at +2 to wipe it out in a 1-hour. I think we had one turn when they done it in a 1-hour, didn't they? I think they may well be doing that. The fact that this first Panzer sitting looking at this guy. Not only that, they've got the second Panzer that really needs to do something. There's lots of things that need to be done, Grant. Okay, so that was the French, and then the British have got 12 points. Well, they clearly want to deal with their air units as well. They've nothing reduced. They've nothing to mobilise. So yeah, they definitely want to do the 2 sorties. So that'll go down to a 4. That'll go down to a 3. So that's that done for 6 points. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they're down to 6. So they mean they could be involved in diplomacy, but there's 2 no event markers in the cup. So, and I think we're past the stage where diplomacy makes any difference here. I mean, yes, I did put a pro-Western mark on Ireland, but realised later on that they can't help. I don't know. No, you can't really get anybody to come and help at all because they can't move into France. Yeah, I don't know. I'd need to think that through about how that really helps the Western faction. It would obviously help fighting back into Germany if you push the Germans back, and later on in the war when they're getting pushed back into Germany, then clearly the Irish could get moved into Germany to fight there, but that's not really involved in this scenario. So yeah, that's the thing to remember. This scenario changes a lot of thinking because you're only going so far. It's to show you the game. It is a training scenario, remember, so you know, it's fine. It just takes you to the end. I mean, do I wish I had just started off the full campaign? Yes, I kind of do now because I'm enjoying this, and I don't know when we get to the end, when we finish this, I'm not quite sure where to go. I mean, I could say that, well, I've had a good shot of the game, let's put it aside, let's play something else now. But part of me wants to leave this set up as a bigger, you know, I've got another table there. I do have another table. You know, on saying that, I have left games set up before, and then I've sat there gathering dust, and you know, but if I wouldn't just leave it set up and not play it. I would come and play it a little bit, but I suppose if you get another game set up on another table, then it drags your attention out, and then you kind of, you maybe put more effort into the other game and you leave it. Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do regarding that, but it would be nice to play more. But I think the biggest problem I've got is if I do start the main, what is it they call it, the main event, I think, which is the full war, then I've basically got to go from where we started this scenario right through to where we're at the moment, and then carry on after 1940 into 1941. So until you see 1941, and yeah, Stuart made some comment about if you're playing the full game, wake me up when I get to part 25. You're a cheeky bugger, Stuart. But listen, if you're watching my videos, you should know that if you're want to watch later on in the game, that you should sort of target a video that's like got double digits at least. Anyway, that's just how it is. Okay, Where were we? That was the Brit. Well, no, they're not finished yet, Grant. They've got 6 points left. Yeah, diplomacy's pointless. So, yeah, I guess we take the sorties off the convoys again. So we'll spend 3 to take that off, and spend another 3 to take that off. So that spends the last 6. That means they're with a 0. So everybody made use of their production, apart from Yugoslavia. Which, no, they wouldn't have actually. Yeah, and there's no point. Well, I'm past that stage where I could have moved any units anyway. Okay, right, that's replacements. Upgrade, there's nothing. Mobilisation, there's nothing. Diplomacy, there's going to be... Well, no, there's going to be absolutely nothing, because the Soviets are out of it now as well. They've got all their countries ceded. So the area seas markers are removed, so understand that they're not part of diplomacy anymore. And the British and the Germans did not have enough points to do anything. So we skip by diplomacy, victory check, and then end the turn. Nobody's had a victory yet. So end the turn, we're going to get this stuff back. So we are moving into September. So let's see what we're all getting back here. I know the tanks are coming back. Okay, so there we've got coming back the French tanks. I'm just going to put these up in the event. The British tanks. That ground support that was used for... What the heck was that used for? Right, the French can't use that. And the British can't use that. What am I missing there? How did we use a ground support marker for the Western faction? Oh, Belgium were there for a while, and the Dutch, and the Danes, and the Norwegians for that matter. So yeah, it must have got put on the track a long time ago. Yeah, it must have been. Well, I must have rolled a 5 or a 6 or something. That's why it's been that long. And then the Axis get their ground support back. That was a Hungarian unit that used that to great effect, and managed to succeed in finishing off Calais. And then we get our airdrop marker back. That's pretty good. I want to see that gives -2s to things, isn't it? That's really good, actually. It's like sending paratroopers in, isn't it? We might need to just have a look at that. Airdrop. The phasing faction may put an airdrop marker on a hex by performing... This is a special marker action as well, so it's like the strategic... No, strategic is a word. Surprise attack thing. So you can do it in between a sort of unit's activation. It can be placed in a hex within 3 hex range of an air unit of the same nationality. Yeah, so it's got to be within 3 of a German air unit. It says it cannot be intercepted, and it does not activate the air unit nor add a sortie to it. Placement hex cannot be a ground movement prohibited hex, but it can contain an enemy unit. When marker is placed, if the hex contains an enemy city, if it contains an enemy city and no enemy unit, the phasing faction rolls a die. On a result of 1 to 3, put a friendly control marker in the hex and remove the marker per the procedure below. On a result of 4 to 6, nothing happens and the marker stays in the hex until the end of the action subphase. Let's go in italics. Local forces hold off the paratroopers. So, where did we move that air unit to? It's here, isn't it? We on 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 5 hexes away. And Vichy, because that's only an air unit. So it says an enemy city and no enemy unit. So my guess is that we couldn't target that. Assuming we're not within 3, but if we were, I thought at first it would maybe need to be a ground unit, but it just says no enemy unit. So my take is that the air unit's going to prevent that as well. Anyway, what we could do is rebase this to, I don't know, somewhere down here, and then airdrop into Toulouse, Bordeaux, or somewhere within 3. But you've got a die roll in that as well. I mean, if you roll a 46, then it's wasted. So the other one, which I think I'd more likely use it for the other one. So it says, if the hex contains no enemy city, with or without an enemy unit in it, nothing happens and the marker stays in the hex until the end of the action subphase. If an enemy air or ground unit in the placement hex is attacked during the phase, the defending unit applies a combat -2 die roll modifier. There's no effect on an enemy naval unit. And then when it's removed, there's a chance it might not come back at all. If you roll a 6, I think. Yeah, so it's more than likely I'm going to chuck it on. I mean, I could, right here, 1, 2, 3, I could chuck it right there. Give that guy a -2. You know? I might well be considering that actually. The fact that that's within 3, and then give that a -2. Well, knock out the rear first, give that a -2, and then the first Panzer goes for that guy. Hopefully getting a good die result, and, well, to get a DE result, well, maybe. The only issue is he's coming across the river, which is a bit of a downer, because he could end up with +2 German, +2 tanks, +2 air support, and he's going to lose the 1 for coming across the river. So that's going to be he's going to be a +5, and the French are going to get a -2 for the airdrop. However, they do also have tanks, so okay. Right. So that was what we got back, and then the turn step. Yes, it was indeed. Right. Let's just push on to the next phase, the next turn. Yeah. So weather phase. Well, we're still in the fair weather phase, which is September. It's July to September. It's 1 to 6. Yeah, well, 1 to 6 result is fair throughout. So we don't need to be rolling dice, and we just leave the weather as it is. And this is the last month of this. So this is really where the Germans want to try and finish it off, I would think. And it's possible. The national will of the French is only 4. And that is the goal with the scenario. I mean, do you have to play the scenario out here? Let me have a look. So it says the Axis faction wins if by the end of December 40 it achieves all of the following, and then otherwise the Western faction wins. So if it doesn't achieve this, the Western faction wins. So Poland and 4 other countries except France are conquered. Well, we've got Poland, we've got Denmark, we've got Norway, we've got Belgium, we've got Netherlands. So that is achieved. And that can't be unachieved. These countries can't be unconquered. Right? Pretty sure it actually states that. Once a country's conquered, it can't be unconquered. Pretty sure that's right. I think there's a way of doing it. And then the other bullet is either France is conquered or the UK has collapsed. Yeah, I was reading a bit more of the rules recently, and the UK cannot be conquered. It can only collapse. I think so. So either France is conquered or the UK is collapsed. And again, well, the UK being collapsed, that might be able to change. I'm not sure, but we're not trying to do that anyway. We're trying to conquer France. So when France is conquered, it can be unconquered. So that would be, so as soon as we conquer France, what I'm trying to achieve here or see is if the scenario will end before December 40, and it looks like it will, because the last condition is there is at least one other active Axis country besides Germany. And we do have 2 Axis allies. We have Hungary and we have Yugoslavia. And I don't know about the fact if that could change. It's not going to be possible in this scenario, but if Yugoslavia and Hungary were to become conquered by the Western faction, would that remove that as being the... I dare say it possibly would, because it says that there is at least one other active Axis country besides Germany. So I think my thinking on that is, if for some reason the British French were able to take out Hungary and Yugoslavia, that would stop the Germans from winning the game, unless they found some other ally. But that's never going to be possible, is it? It's never going to be possible in this scenario. So, if we conquer France, it's game over. Doesn't matter when it happens. So it could happen in September, and then that'll be that. However, we do have until the end of December to make it happen. And if it doesn't happen then the Allies win, the Western faction win. Okay, good stuff. Right. With the weather is good. Declare war phase, there's none of that happening. Economy, yeah, I know we don't really need to, but we will. No, the British are going to be down here a bit. Anyway, let's deal with the Germans first. 14, they've got 1 factory loss, so 26. So they've not changed any. I thought the Germans used them all up. I had 1 left. Right, 26. The French, they lost Paris again. So they're only down to 6, so they've only got 12, which might have some relevance. I think it's still going to be okay. It might be that they might struggle at the end. I don't know. The last time they had 7 left over. Oh yeah. Sorry, I forgot something as well. At the end of turn, there was nobody to mobilise. However, there was units and eliminated units both, so that's kind of important, Grant. So these 2 French units and 2 German units move into the mobilised box. So that could be relevant to the French production, because they really kind of want to bring them back, and that's going to cost them 2 points. They're both just leg units yet. So they kind of want 2 points to bring them back. They want 6 points to get their air units back. So that's 8. And if they end up with anybody that's takes a step loss, then we've got to think of that as well. And they're only starting with 12. So 8, 12, that means 4. That means they can only activate 4 units. And that, remember, they do have 1 mobile unit as well, which would cost 2. So you could kind of say that their air's getting taken out anyway, and should they bother with that, it might come that it might be more important to spend the points to activate other units than to save it to, replace the air. But then if they don't replace the air, it means the Germans have got more sorties to maybe go after the British air, or... Anyway, so French only got 12. And then the British have lost 2 points as well, because they've got 9 factories, but this moved from 1 to 2 this turn. So the factory loss count is 2. So 9 minus 2 is 7, doubled is 14. So they were on 16 last turn, and you can see they spent it all and didn't do diplomacy, and now they're on 14 this turn. So it's probably going to be a tougher turn for them. Oh, and saying that, they did spend 6 points on their convoys, which they could have avoided. Yeah, so... okay, so that's economy. Right, strategic warfare. Okay. Right, strategic warfare. Probably it's important, Dyro, that's for the British. Or the Western faction. because they really don't want to lose another one and don't lose another 2 points. Again, like I say, maybe the convoys, because they've got no shorties on them at the moment, maybe it's not such a huge big deal. And the British only have 2 mobile units to activate. So, yeah, it's maybe not such a big deal. Anyway, there's no modifiers to the strategic warfare. The Germans do not have an air unit in Norway in Sea Zone 3, and they do not have a port in Sea Zone 7, like as in Brest. So it's just a straight up roll, this. No modifiers. There we go. Yeah, that's going to be a whole lot of nothing. I think that's the rolls we were getting first. So Germans are considered the attacker on this. So it's a 1 to 2. So it's a diamond. Oh, that's good for the British then. Because that means... Yeah, that's a good result, isn't it? Because that means they decrease the factory loss marker value for both Germany and the respective allied country by 1. Yeah, so that is good. So the Germans can't reduce any further than 1. However, the British can drop down to 1. So yeah, that was a result. So they'll get 2 extra points again. They'll get 16 again next turn. Good stuff. Okay, strategic movement. Well, we might as well. I should have done this last turn. But I'd forgot about even activating the Yugoslavs. So we're going to move this unit. Oops. Right, I grabbed that from where? Bucharest, I think. Yeah, I brought the strategic move marker out and then picked up a pro-access marker. Yeah, it was in Bucharest. That was the one that seeded right from Bessarabia, wasn't it? Okay, so we're going to strategically move him. Now, he can't stop in Germany, but he's allowed to strategically move through Germany. So up through here, well, let's go up a bit further. And there. Well, that's Brussels. Nobody mentioned anything about there being an issue about me. Well, in fact, no. Yes, Sal confirmed that it was good. The move was good. Because I ended them in Brussels. And I thought, I think it's okay. Because part of me was worrying about the fact that Belgium had been conquered, but France hadn't. Yeah, I think I'm going to move it. Actually, I'm going to move it right round to Sudan. Because it can still end adjacent. As long as it's not in a zone of control, and that's just a fort on its own now. Yeah, so I'm going to strategically move it all the way around and into Sudan. And now he gets a strategic move marker still on top of him. It means he can't activate this turn. He can't take replacements as well. So he's not going to be able to do anything until next turn. Now, is that a problem? I don't think so. In fact, I think it's quite sensible putting that in Sudan. Yeah. Yeah, okay, let's go for that. And then the Western faction do not have any strategic move, I don't think. Right, okay, into the meat of the game again, or the turn operations phase. So, Axis operations, what am I at? 34 minutes. Is it wise maybe just cutting this as a little short part? Well, it probably doesn't matter because as you've seen in the previous parts, previous parts, I've not managed to get through the Axis operations in one take anyway. It's taken me, I think last turn it was like 3 or maybe 4 parts before I got right through it. So I could just get started here. There's not really any harm in that. Well, yeah, maybe you should then, Grant, because you could spend another half an hour on this video and it'll still be fine. I don't mind them going to an hour and a bit. In fact, I had a comment from somebody not that long ago about up to an hour and a half. I think they mentioned maybe it was fine for them, but it's maybe not everybody. I don't mind if you're engrossed in the game and whatever, and want to see how it's going. Does it really matter how long it is? You can stop and start at your leisure, come back to it. That's what I do. I just watch bits when I can. Okay. Right, I think I should pause though and maybe just look over things and see what I think the best things to do are. Okay, two big things. This is certainly standing out. This. Because it's also... I'm also going to... I can follow this. Because remember, we trade supply at the end of this phase. It doesn't... The French and the British don't get a chance to move about and that before we check for our supply. We check at the end of this phase. So this is sitting in here. We still have control with Paris. Yeah, once we move this away, we might want to think about Paris again, though, Grant, because then something could go out and in. So let's be aware of that. However, we do have, like, there's the 6th Infantry up there, which is not doing anything now since Calais got taken. So, I mean, he could quite easily be the one that comes down. Well, and the 2nd, sorry, we've got the 6th and the 2nd that were battling against Calais, and the Hungarians came along and finished them off. So one of them could go into Paris. Anyway, let's not worry about Paris. Let's just try and bash across this river into this guy, knock him back. Hopefully more than knock him back, and try and take him out. And if we do take him out, now is there a way that the other thing that's lighting up for me is into Le Havre. There's a French unit there. Remember, this is the British air that's in there, and that would also be beneficial if we could. Well, it'd be huge to take Le Havre, because I mean they've only got 4 National Wall left. So, but this is just infantry in that way. So, of course, the other thing could be you could attack with this 1st Panzer. Well, I'll tell you what. Knock it back, but don't advance after combat. Then move across into there, isolating that unit. Yeah, it would be isolated. And then attacking into Le Havre. And bearing in mind, there's Cherbourg along there. So you could attack into Le Havre. Knock that unit out as well. I'm not that sure I would then have the points to go all the way into, because Cherbourg just needs to be strolled into. But the thing is, if we knock that guy out, this guy's been retreat. Well, I'll tell you what, he's going to retreat into there to stop that shenanigans. He's not going to retreat back there or there. He's going to retreat into there. And then that would stop things moving right along into Cherbourg. So that makes sense, doesn't it? Anyway, these two, this French 2nd Infantry and Le Havre seem to be the best place to be looking right now, at the start of this operations, I think. I mean, yes, we've got the 2nd Panzer here in Dijon, which needs to be doing something, but it's hoping to get some support. Remember, these forts just need to be moved into by a German unit, and they get wiped out. So it's more than likely this would move along into there, this would move into there, and we would be trying to do something to these to get this guy back in supply, I suppose. And the other city down there in Lyon, but yeah, I can't see the 2nd Panzer being able to smash that guy up and get into Lyon. Not by itself. I think he's probably going to be just sitting there fighting round about him. So yeah, none of this looks like clear points, whereas this looks like a chance to get some points. And okay, I've realised that if I retreat that French unit, I go there to stop some of that. But it still means that this guy, if he retreats into there, I don't advance after combat, but I then move into there, and then we attack this isolated, assuming I've got the points. Did I go across the river there? No. Oh, it does, yeah. Damn. Well, who knows if I've got the points left, and to be honest, maybe I'm not got points left, because maybe it takes me a couple of attacks on this guy to budge him. But then I end my activation in there, this guy's still isolated, and then this guy opens up, he's not going to cross the river. Okay, he's only infantry, but... Right, okay. Okay, you've talked it through, Grant. You know what you want to do. So, let's make sure you get the right one first then. Well, it's clearly I've got to activate the first Panzer first. Because the whole point, like I've just said, is to isolate this guy. To get the extra +2 on him. So, and we can only do that by nudging this guy out of the way. Now, remember the French, yeah, hang on, let's deal with the French air. Yeah, we don't want them to have air, for sure. Okay, so we're going to do what I said. This is where I'm 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is where I'm 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that is airstrike range. So we'll go for this one that's in 7 first. So he's going to airstrike this unit. So there is a chance he'll be able to do this in 1 sortie. There's a possibility I might take the 2 sorties, but it is going to wipe out the French here no matter what. It just would be better for the Germans if it only took 1 sortie. So the Germans have got a +2 and -4 sorties, so they're on a -2. These are minuses, remember? And the French are on -4. They don't get any pluses, so they're just on -4. So it's all about the grey dice, really. If it's high, then this should work. It doesn't matter so much, because if they roll a 6, it's -4, so it's down to 2. You know, so it doesn't matter so much in that, but it's the grey dice that matter. Right, so here we go. Right, well, I went the opposite, didn't I? That, again, like I say, that's not going to matter. It's a 1, -2 is a 1, and a 6 -4 is just a 2. So it is a diamond result still. Okay, so I'm not going to roll on the next one, I don't think. No, it doesn't matter. So, and what I mean by that is, these both go up to 5 now, and then we'll do an airstrike again, and I can't inflict any more than 6 sorties on an enemy. You know, so the worst result, it's going to be 1 and 1. So basically I'm just going to do the airstrike again and mark them both as 6 sorties. So it means that this German air unit is going to be out of the game as well. Oh, when I say out of the game, I mean out of the game for this turn. That's him. He cannot activate. Okay, so hopefully better result with the next one then. So we're going to do the same with this on this. So again, the modifiers are going to be the same. It's a -2 to the Germans, a -4 to the French. And here we go. And no, that's not going to work either. So a 2 -2 is a 0, becomes a 1, and a 2 -4 is a 1. So it's going to be the same again. So if I want to take them right out, I don't know. I'm not sure if that's sensible or not, because it is taking my own air out as well. But I'm going to play it that way. Somebody might. So these would incur a sortie each, and then I'm just going to do the same again, and we're going to do another airstrike, which means that that's going to be 6, and that's going to be 6 as well. Somebody might tell me that that's maybe not the best way to do it. Maybe I should have left that French here with 5 and let me allow myself a sortie. Possibly. I don't know. I think the first thing I want to do is attack this, so I don't want the French to have an air support. So, okay. So what about your airdrop marker then? Is that the place it should be, or should it be in Le Havre? Oh no, hold on. It needs to be within 3 of the air unit. Yeah, just as well I remembered that. Which means that maybe we are putting on that guy, because that is within 3. Le Havre's 4 hexes away. And I'm not willing to start rebasing my air unit when it's only got 2 sorties left. I mean, we want 1 sortie here and 1 sortie here, probably. So I think we go for the airdrop marker right away. And just, I think we're just going for it, trying to finish the game on this turn. Like I say, I've realised that by retreating that into there is going to be a bit of a pain, but not. Because the other thing is, if he retreats here like that, yes, I don't have a free run along there, but I could then, well, I've already said that I would then move into there, isolating that guy, but there's nothing to say that I need to attack that. I could attack that. But then why would you do that? Because he's just going to retreat along and still cause that trouble. Well, let's say I reduce that guy in the first attack, but he retreats. I might want to chase him down. Try and finish. Because if he's not here, he's not blocking this transport line, and we can just stroll along there. So, well, we need to find out what the first combat's going to be. Okay. Right, we're done with the air. In fact, yeah, let's just do this. We're gonna place the airdrop marker on this hex here. That's within 3 of that air unit. 1, 2, 3. So that is going to give a -2 to anybody defending in that hex. Is that the right thing to do, Grant? Yeah, there's nothing else I could see putting that. I mean, there's lots of French units within 3 there. This is an important one. This is where we want to go. The second Panzer, we've already said, is more going to be defending this turn. First Panzer's not. He's on the move, and he's got plenty of support round about him there. Okay, so we place the airdrop marker on that French unit. And we're now going to activate First Panzer for 2 points. So down to 24. Activate First Panzer. We've gave him 10 movement points. Now this is just a clear hex, but it's across the river. So 1 to move in the hex, 1 to cross the river, 1 for attack in fair weather. Takes us to 7. So you can see that we can attack twice more. And that airdrop marker is going to sit there as well, isn't it? It's not going to... I've still got that open. So it says, if an enemy air or ground unit in the placement hex is attacked during the phase, the defending unit applies a combat -2 DRM. There's no effect on an enemy naval unit. The only problem is if he does retreat, then he's then not going to get that after that. But... nah. We're hoping that the extra -2 might actually... Well, remember, they do have the tanks. And yeah, it is... Well, I don't know. This could be a tough choice here. Do we place the tanks there? I mean, again, this is because it's all in my head. It's not in my opponent's head. He's not thinking, right, what is he going to do here? He's attacking here, but... So I have to think what's in my head, and what's in my head is I'm going to go after Le Havre as well as this unit. So if my opponent knew that, where would they place the tanks? Would they place it on this unit, or would they keep it for Le Havre? Knowing that I've placed the airdrop marker on this unit, you could balance it out by placing the tanks there. You kind of, but then if he looks into it and sees that that unit retreats, then Le Havre's going to be isolated, so that would balance the -2, the +2 that we would get extra for that. think I want to say you would keep it for half, but it's one of these sort of decisions here where I wish, yeah, I don't know. I wish some AI could intervene and make that decision. These are the only sort of bats. I've been fine with everything else, but there's been a couple of moments where, and some of the things you can think maybe not strategically sort of, you know, amazing sort of bits of strategy that you worked out that your opponents, you know, might figure out, but maybe not. But because it's all in my head, then it's all known. It's known to both sides. But yeah, that's how it's going to be, Grant. Okay, so we're making the attack there. So, are they going to commit? Right, the French have no air to commit. The Germans do have air. That's all the Germans could commit is air. The only thing the Western faction can commit is the French tanks. So quick look at the numbers. +2, excuse me, +2 for German, +2 for tanks, +2 for air. We're assuming they're going to play air. -1 for the river. As a +5. Right now the French are sitting at +1 for French, -2 for the airdrop. So +5 to a -1. That could be painful. It's not as important a unit, is it? I mean, I know it's blocking things. And the thing is, it uses its tanks. It's unlikely to get a stop result. So the Panzers are still going to get 2 more attacks, and then they're not going to have tanks. And they're still going to be sitting at airdrop hex. They actually probably would prefer a retreat result out of this. But then you say, well, if they played the tanks, it might balance it out a bit better to... That would be +5 against +1. That's still pretty bad. If they play the tanks, they're going to be at +1, aren't they? Yeah. Yeah, I feel like I should keep the tanks. Probably have. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I know it's debatable. What would you have done? You've got to decide before you see the dice, mind. Okay, so we're going to... let's just lay out the numbers just and let me think about it one more time. The Germans are going to come out. So, the thing is, you don't know if they're going to come out because you've got to hide the commit markers, but I think the fact that they've got 2 sorties, the Western faction are going to know. So +2 German, +2 tanks, +2 air, and -1 for the river is +5. +5. And let me just sort that, sorry, because nothing can be done about that. That's me spending my sorry for the air. And then the French unit is +1 for French, -2 for the airdrop marker. Oh, I can use my dice this time. So he's actually sitting at -1. So you can see that if he was to commit his tanks right now, he'd be sitting at +1 to a +5. I think the bigger worry for the French here is that they get a DE result. What would be required there, to be honest? The minimum, like a 4. The Germans roll a 4, and the French roll it's a -1, a 2. That's all. That would end up with a DE result. Because if that gets wiped out, then, well, what does happen then? What does happen? I don't know what does happen. Can they get to Nantes? They've got 7 movement left. They would advance after combat, for sure. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They take Nantes. 6, 7. You see they're very close to hitting Brest. They'll be sitting outside Brest. But I want to say that there's nothing to stop a French unit mobilising in Brest, is there? Can you mobilise in a hex that's in a zone of control, though? I actually think you can. I don't think that's an issue, but if that was an issue, then that makes this far more important, because that feels like that's pretty much game over. Well, no, the Western faction are going to get an operations phase to try and take a city back, but mobilisation to mobilise a unit. Placement can be in an enemy zone of control. Yeah, I did think that was the case. So it needs to go into one of its mainland cities. So the French unit, even if the German unit's sitting right outside Brest, he could mobilise in Brest. Meaning that, to be honest, it's a reduced unit sitting in Brest with a panzers bearing down on them for the next turn. It's not good, is it? And well, other options there could be I don't know, maybe we don't advance after combat, and then we move into here down to 6 points, isolate that unit, and then yeah, the problem with that is we know we could take Nantes with that, and then we're hanging about to isolate. Well, hold on, Grant. Couldn't you bring something else around to isolate that unit? You could, couldn't you? I'm talking about the 2nd and the 6th. The 6th could come into Paris. The 2nd could go 1, 2, 3, 4 into there, have a go at that guy, and he's isolated then as well, isn't he? Yeah, I could see things. Yeah, it does look like the Germans could do this. Okay, we've not rolled dice yet. So does that change your view on the tanks then? I don't know. I really don't know. I think no. I think we don't use the tanks, but of course if I roll the dice and I roll a 4 for the Germans and a 2 for the French, I'm going to clearly feel like I should have done it, but you can see the dilemma that I'm in, I think. Because they'd be happy with a DR result. I'm gonna keep the tanks for what I have. Yeah, you know what? It's tossing a coin really. I could roll a dice maybe. I don't want to do that. I want to try and make the right choice for them. If I was playing the game right now, knowing that I only had one shot at the tanks, yeah. And like I've said, if the tanks were to come up with a no result, well, it's just probably unlikely though. They're probably still going to get a retreat result. Then the Panzers chase him down. Then he's out in the open. And whether we fly a sortie again, maybe we don't. But it's still going to be a 4 to a +1. So that, yeah, no, I'm not going to use the tanks. Let's just do it. Okay, let's do it. So it's a +5 to a -1. Here we go. Ooh, well. That's good for the Western faction. I mean, I think it's still going to be a retreat, but like I said, retreat, DD, they probably didn't want a DD either. So that is, they might be on a DD though. I'm forgetting these are on a -1. So that's a 6. And we've got a 2, -1. That actually is a DD result. So, if they'd played the tanks, it would have been a retreat. Well, what can I do? To be honest, it's not elimination. Although, so it's a DD, which means he's got to take, that's defender disrupted, so he takes a step loss. I'll flip him over, 3-1-1-3 there. And then he's got to retreat. I'm going to leave the airdrop marker because that just stays there, but right, so I think the fact that he's reduced probably means the Panzers are going to chase him down. Now, I said here that it would make sense for him to retreat there. Now, he can't retreat there. He could retreat there or there for that matter. But that doesn't make any... Well, maybe it does. It's moving across a river. But this was stopping him from coming along here and getting into Cherbourg. So let me just see if he retreats to here. No, that doesn't. Well, he could not advance after combat and just go into there, then attack that. But that's then going to cost him. Well, it's going to cost him 1 to move into there, and then another 1-2 for the enemy city, 1 crossing the river, 1 for the attack. That's another 4-5. So he's only going to get 1 attack at that and have 2 movement points left. He's not going to be able to go stroll along into Cherbourg anyway. So so maybe not moving that way is fine. Maybe actually moving that way is... But then it's opening gaps up, Grant. It's opening gaps up. This is a safer hex for him to move to. But then if he moves there, I think I'd then decide I don't care and just leave him. And then move into there. Or oh no, I can't. Because if he moves in there and I advance after combat, I can then not go along here because I'm in the zone of control. So I would need to either attack or end my activation. Yeah, this is where I'm struggling. I want to do the right thing for the French unit here. I'm not sure what the right move is. Yeah, I actually don't think moving in there is the best play. Because if we move into there, well, you could either advance after combat and attack him again with a high risk of him being eliminated, and then he could still move into there to isolate that and maybe have movement left to... I think he would, because movement into there, attack for 2, that's 5. Down to 5, and that would be 1 into there, 4, and then it's 4 to attack. So yeah, he would. So I actually don't think that's the right move. So it's either this one or this one. But I think moving there as well it's the same, isn't it? I chase him down. But look, Nantes and Brest, they're open. That can't even... so if he moves into there or there, I chase him down. So if he moves into there, which is the better hex for him, I ignore him. First Panzer goes into there, has a bash at him. 9th Infantry activates. 1. No, you can't. There's still no gap through there, Grant, unless that gets removed. And if he retreats into there, could I still not go after him anyway? So I advance after combat, make an attack. 1, 2, well, that would be 3, taking me down to 4 to make the attack across the river. And then I would not be able to move back. Well, I'd be able to move back in there, but I don't have 3 points left, so I would not be able to make the attack on that. So, from a German point of view, I think if he advances into there, I just ignore him. And I go for Le Havre. Because if we manage to get an amazing result on Le Havre, remember they're going to have the tanks for Le Havre, though, Grant. Then this could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 into Nantes. And of course the Panzers would be moving into Le Havre, and then that's game over. Yeah, it looks like it's all going to decide. Well, certainly this turn it could be decided on these 2 units. Well, this attack here, and right, come on, Grant, make your mind up. I still feel like it makes more sense. I'm going into there. He might survive. That way, he's unlikely to survive. The Germans are going to follow him and attack him again. And not only that, they're then going to be able to go in there and attack. That is right, isn't it? 7, 1, 2, leaves me 5, 1 into their attack. And then, even if he was there, it'd be the same. Okay, I wouldn't be chucking an air sortie into that, but remember, he's reduced, so I'm going to retreat into here. Because, well, hold on. Let's just say he survives there, though, Grant. If he survives there, if he survives there, it stops. Nothing can move along there, and nothing can move along there. So they'd have to go right round about. And like I've already said, I'm probably not going to put an air sortie into this, but it would be +2 for German, +2 for tanks, and he's reduced, so... and if this unit gets eliminated, that's 1 less will that they've got. However, that maybe doesn't matter. Well, no, actually it does, because then if we wipe that guy out, that's another less will, and then we move into Le Havre, and that's game over as well. Right, okay, I've been paused there for a bit thinking again. I'm going to move him back there. I think what made my mind up in the end was, if I do move the guy back there, the first Panzer knows him, then they go in and Le Havre, then he's safe there for the moment, but there's nothing to say that this 6th or 2nd Infantry or the Hungarians, okay, Hungarians not as strong, couldn't make their way down here to attack him. Okay, it's going to be an infantry unit attacking him across the river, but remember, he's reduced as well. So, I think we'll go with this, but let me know what you think about that. Might be that you think it might not matter, but I don't know. So, the Germans are going to advance after combat. Aren't they? Yes. And then they're going to attack. Yeah, it just feels weak, but they might survive it. So it only costs 2, leaving us 5 points. The thing is that if he does survive it, it's going to be a pain for the 1st Panzer, because they then can't decide and move into there. But it's going to be a long shot, I think. Well, the dice gods will shine nicely on the French. So +2 for German, +2 for tanks. We're not going to run a sortie. So we're not going to commit. I mean, the French still have their tanks, but I think they're committed to keep that to Le Havre. So, and the unit's reduced, so he gets the -2. Right, so it's +2 and +2, it's +4. And then they're going to be sitting at -2. Sorry, -1. -1, +1 for French, -2 for being reduced. So, -1, +4. Yeah, you never know. The dice could still help. So here we go. Let's do it. And he's got 5 movement points left as well. Oh, man. Right, here we go. No. I think that's that, isn't it? So 4 + 4 is 8. 3 - 1 is 2. Yeah, it's a DD result. Yeah, I suppose if they had got a retreat again, it would have been something at least. So, and maybe it was worth a gamble. They dice could easily. They went the other way about. Or the T3, 2, 4. Yeah, see that. So if the dice had been the other way about, it would have been just a retreat. And he could have moved back another hex. Still being alive. Unfortunately, it didn't go that way. Okay, so he's eliminated, and that is another national will, which is that was a bit I was really worried about, because that does mean that if we take Le Havre now and eliminate that unit, he's not going to have a retreat hex anyway. Then the unit loses 1 will and Le Havre loses another 2 will. So 5 movement for the... Oh, wait a minute then. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we could take Nantes and knock him down to 1 will. That makes more sense, actually. Because, like I've said, can one of these not come round and isolate this? The 2nd Infantry can go 1, 2, 3, 4 and have an attack for another 4. And then this guy can attack for... He's going to get 2 attacks, isn't he? He's going to get... It's a 1, 2, 3. So he'll get 2 attacks. Yeah, I think this looks like... It looks like the end, I think. And remember, this is just a near unit here, so it's not... He's not sitting in zone of control. Well, actually, he gets an advance after combat as well, doesn't he? Yeah, so I think he takes that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No. I don't think he's going to matter taking Brest anyway. And he's still going to be in supply and Nantes, because he can trace right along there, up there, into there, and he's fine. So yeah, I think the 1st Panzer pushes on. Oh, that should be back there. Yeah. That looks like you could maybe finish this. What am I at? I'm at an hour and 14 minutes. Oh, if you can finish it, you better try to do that now then, Grant. So 5 movement. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We take Nantes. Yeah, I think we just sit there, actually. Still got 1 movement left, but I think I'll just end there. That drops the French National Will down to 1. So 1 unit loss or 1 city taken is enough. So yeah, let's just try and finish it then. So activate the 2nd German infantry for 1. He's got 8 movement. He's going to move across the river for 2, 3, 4 into there, and attack here. For the other 4, because it's 1, 2 for the enemy city, 1 for crossing the river, 1 for the attack. So I don't need the dice for that. So that's him spent all his. Well, I suppose that's him done. Well, he can advance after combat. And if that's the case, the game's over anyway. Okay, so attacking into there. Right, are we going to come up? So the French have their tanks. The German have a sortie. But here's the thing. I know I can get 2 attacks with this. Not across the river. So what did they get for being isolated? They are isolated, aren't they? I mean, this home fleet and convoy are in this hex as well as this air unit. None of that. None of them affect that. So he is not adjacent to a friendly unit or adjacent to a friendly city, and he's not got a retreat hex. He can't retreat there because that unit's exerting zone of control. So he is isolated, so that means we get an extra +2, don't we? So it'd be +2 for German, +2 for isolated. That's a 4. -1 for the city, -1 for the river. So that's a +2. If I chuck the air in, it's a +4. He gets a +1. He could get a +2 for his tanks. He's up against that there, isn't he? I think he's got to save the tanks for this. Yeah, he's got to see this and say, look, this is going to be a better attack. He's clearly going to save his air for that. So we've got our commitment markers laid aside. We're both got them committed, hidden away. We both turn them up and they're both red. We're not going to commit. Neither party's committing. So that's the way I could do that. I mean, if I know they're not playing their tanks, I'll play my air. But okay, so +2 for German, +2 for being isolated, -1 for the city, -1 for the river. So it's a +2 for the Germans, and the French get a +1. So you can see that that's okay. The French have got a good chance of surviving this one. And that's why they need to keep their tanks for the next one. Yeah, that's an interesting thought. Okay, never mind. Right, so +2 to +1. Here we go. And then they've only got 1 attack, so stopping the Germans here wouldn't help any. Here we go. That's a good result. I'm guessing that's going to be fine. So it's a 5 to a 6. That is going to be no effect. Okay, so that's that unit finished. So now we're just going to go for this. Now I'm just pushing on here though, so I can just close this video out if we happen to take this. So German 9th, we're going to activate the German 9th for 1 production. So he starts off with 8 movement points. He's going to attack into Le Havre. It's going to cost 2 for the city, 1 for the attack. It's going to cost him 3 out of the 8, so he's going to be left with 5. Yeah, so he's not going to get. He's only going to get 1 more attack. Now that's so. Commitment wise, again, well, at the moment they're sitting with. No, that's a +3. Because he's not coming across the river now. So it's +2 for German, +2 for isolated, -1 for the city. they've got +1 for being French. So do they commit? The thing is, this is a bit of a gamble here as well, because I've got 1 sortie left. Clearly, if I had 2, I would just chuck it in here. But so I've got to think he's going to play his. I think they're going to have to play their tanks on this one, thinking that we're going to play a rare. But if I chose not to play Mayor and they play the tanks, then I've got my last attack. That's not guaranteed to blow them out the water, though, Grant, is it? Yeah, I don't think this is going to finish just yet, unless it's a real swing of die result. Right, I think we both commit. I think the French have to assume that I'm going to use my air. And, well, I could play a game by sort of saying, well, I won't use my air then. We'll go on a 3-3, and then next turn we'll go on a 5-1. You know? Whereas this is going to be a 5-3. Yeah, let's just do it. Okay, so the French play their tanks. The Germans come out the last sortie. So that knocks that up to +5 and knocks that up to +3. Sorry, that's... What am I doing? I need to turn the dice, Grant. So that's a 5 and that's a 3. Okay, and well, it's maybe unlikely for them to get a stop result, but that would obviously avoid the last attack. So here we go. Attack on Le Havre. Got their tanks in, we've got our last air in. Ooh, well, no, I think that might be okay. I think they might get away with that. So that's a 10 to a 9. Yeah, it's a 10 to a 9, Grant. So no effect. So that kind of worked. Right, so the Germans are going to use their last attack, though. They've got 2 movement points left. So this is now going to drop back to 1. Yeah, and this is now going to drop back to 3, though. I think that was right. Well, I don't know. I mean, 6. They might have actually stopped me there. Well, they rolled a 6. Plus a 3 was 9. If I hadn't played the air, what did I get? A 5. Plus a 3. Yeah, it was 8. Yeah, it would have been alright, wouldn't it? But you could see that if they did play their tanks and didn't play my air, and we did get a bad die roll for the Germans, it might have stopped the last attack. Yeah. Although the last attack is not at the best odds, so I'm pretty sure the French are going to survive this. But who knows? Let's roll the dice. Here we go. It's the other way about this time. So a 9 to a 6, that might be a retreat. It might not be though. It is just a retreat. So that's bad news for the French. Send a retreat. I feel like I'm rushing here a little. Maybe I should just check the numbers again. No, I think everything was fine. Right, the tanks obviously weren't there anymore. So goes they coming back in October, if there is an October. So he's not got a retreat hex, so he's now reduced. So can the Germans get another unit round to maybe finish that guy off? He's got 2 movement points left, but he's still, yeah, just 1 more movement point we didn't need. So he's got to end his activation there. I'm not so sure they're going to get somebody right round there. Because the attack is going to be across the river, so it's going to be 4. 1, 2... No. They're not going to do it, Grant. They're going to survive. Yeah, and your other panzer's locked up, so it's only infantry you've got. The Hungarian unit's the nearest, which doesn't really help things. 1, 2, but he's then got to go 3, 4, 5, and then it's 4 to attack. 2 into the city, 1 across the river, 1 for the attack. So can't do it. What is this? Oh. Well, he's in zone of control, Grant. No, he's not going to be able to do it. If he was able to just stroll right through Paris, then maybe. So be 1, 2, 3, 4. But yeah, that's too much as well. Okay, it looks like we're going to record another part. It still looks grim for the French, and the fact that, yeah, I mean, well, they can do something about this. So, but I'm pretty sure the Germans are going to be able to shore things up to avoid any loss, like, of any regain of national will. But you never know. The fact the French are going to be desperate for it, they're going to have to try what they can. Okay, I've dragged that out to almost an hour and a half, because I did think we were maybe going to come to a conclusion there. But they've hung on. So, okay, so I'll come back, and it might well be the last part, next part. And if not, I'm pretty sure I could jump into the next turn and probably finish it off quickly. But we'll see. We'll see what the Western faction can do. Maybe they can come up with something. Okay, I'll be back later. I don't know. I thought we were going to just wrap things up there, so I don't know if I might get back tonight or not. We'll see. Okay, I'll be back when I'm back. Cheers.